the M.A.A.T generator. No fossil fuels, no moving parts, and no harmful emissions. The M.A.A.T generator is basically a take back to what the Egyptians had. And the Egyptians had a far more advanced technology, as you can see by the nut and shoe. Nut the sky, shoe the earth. And you can see this, that the Milky Way galaxy is basically how they believe that power came, energy came through the ether. And here we have the raising of the Djed pillar, which was an energy device, which these two ladies, Nephthys and Isis, are activating. This is not, they're not worshiping this. This is an activation of a device. And we can see here, King Tut's chair. To the very right, you see this round disc with a blue in the middle. This is an energy device, or basically it is the diagram to an energy device, much the same as my device, which I have taken from the ancient Egyptians. The ancient Egyptians had this type of device, and here is the modern interpretation of what they had. They had nitinol, mercury, copper, aluminum, bismuth, magnesium, and gold. And here's a more complete list of the elements, some of the elements that are in my device, which make it very powerful. Again, back to this pictograph. The sun plays a very important part as they use photons and neutrinos to produce safe, clean, non-polluting power. And this is what is the main thing about the Egyptians, was that they considered this life and the afterlife connected. Now this is a very interesting energy device, where you have your positive and your negative, and you have in front of Ptah you have the gold symbol, a very prominent symbol, one of the elements that they used to create energy. And they show this device here. This is at the Temple of Dendara. Again, we see the symbol for gold. If you look at the symbol in the middle of the screen, the three little dots with kind of like what looks like a tablecloth and a square in the middle of that. That is the symbol for gold. Also, the other symbols were magnesium and copper. And here again we have, if you look at this in the middle of your screen, this kind of like necklace thing is a guide to the elements that were in the device that was producing power, and they were feeding it into a battery type thing. You can see these four faces, and above them these square pillars, and then you see these little dots. That's the energy. It also is referring to, I'm not going to get into the other parts of what's going on here, but you can see that there's like a little round ball. And then again on the other side of the in the basement of the Dendara temple, on the other wall you see the two, what look like lamps. And actually the snake symbol in Egypt represented Mercury. Yes, it represented the liquid metal mercury. And this is, of course, on the other side of the wall with the one. So you have two on one side of these lamps, mercury lamps, and then you have one on this on the other side. And this symbolizes the negative and the positive, so to speak. Actually, it's not really negative and positive. It's clockwise and counterclockwise, because that's how these things work, based on the magnetic fields and the various elements that they put together. So we can see these beautiful images showing their technology, showing how they produced power, showing how there was some interaction between what we know as reality and what we don't know much about as the afterlife. The Egyptians talked a lot about the afterlife, and it was all connected. Here again are two of the priests of Pharaoh, and this is again another Djed pillar or power. That was their power source, and they're activating it with their energy. This is an energy device, absolutely, by all the writing that you see around this. Talks about negative and positive. Here again, we have the crystal above the head, or actually, I'm sorry, the red round disc is the energy in the atmosphere. Then you have like the Ankh circle. That is like the crystal. And then you have, basically you have an antenna. Here's my device that and it's an exploded image here. I'm not going to go into all the details, but you know, the base is made of limestone, the very first piece on the bottom, followed by a magnet. And then we get into all kinds of other things, magnesium, more magnets. Then we get into the nitinol and the magnesium shaft with a gold rod going through the middle of that. You have aluminum, bismuth, you have copper. You have various other things going on here which create both chemical reactions, you have metallic reactions, you have organic reactions, chemical reactions which cause an extreme amount of power, but without too much heat. You have heat in this device, but not at dangerous levels, and it doesn't put off anything that would be harmful. You can see that we have the cradle at the top, and we have at the very top, we have a round crystal ball. And inside that would be a fulcrum magnet, the red there, and of course the cradle that holds the crystal ball and the magnet. It's made of bismuth. And again, I've gone back here to the base, which is made of limestone. And there's particular reasons why the base is made of limestone. It has certain properties that are shielding, and they help to balance all of the power and energy that's going on above it. This is basically showing the various metallic reactions that are put together, aluminum, bismuth, and then you have your copper, and then you have other organic materials working together to create a serious amount of energy. I like to call my device lightning in a can, because that's what it is. This device is controlled lightning. The power of lightning in a very small device using certain ionic positive and negative influences to create an extreme amount of power. Again, here is another depiction or diagram of what the device actually looks like, with the cradle, the magnet, and the crystal sphere. As you can see in the magnet, there's like this beam going through it. Actually, it's a hole going through it where the gold rod will fit through there all the way to the bottom. And as it accumulates energy, it takes it right to the limestone, and it goes through a series of energy boosters, accumulation areas and the like. And this is a green energy. This is truly a green energy. There's no need for oil consumption. There's no need for moving parts. It doesn't have any moving parts. It doesn't need any. All the activity happens on the atomic level. And it basically utilizes 6 different ways to accumulate energy. Here are different views of the device. And there are parts of this device that I will not discuss here. But I have discussed some of the components. And again, the top view of the device. And I called it the M.A.A.T generator because M.A.A.T means to have stability. That means to stabilize a huge amount of power. But M.A.A.T in and of itself is an anachronism for Magnetic Advanced Amalgamate technology, would be the technical or scientific term to describe what this device is made of, how it works in a nutshell. Magnetic Advanced Amalgamate technology, because magnetic fields are used. And here is another layout of the device with the nitinol on the outside. Then you have your mercury sealed in a safe way, so nobody's going to come in contact with it. Then you have the copper. Then you would have nitrogen. Then you have aluminum, bismuth, aluminum, bismuth, aluminum, bismuth, aluminum. Then you would have your thorium seated against the magnesium with the gold through the middle. And this will create a huge amount of power. And the great thing about this device is that you don't have to, it's uni-Invertable, meaning it will work with something that's direct current or alternating current. Makes no difference. You could plug your dryer in and it will just adapt to the power that's needed to utilize it. You don't have to worry about, certain aspects of how we think of power and how it's utilized. It automatically adjusts to the load that is placed upon it, which is one of the magnificent things about this. You could take this out in the desert and use it and power your power tools. Or you could, without any fuel, you don't need to feed it fuel, oil, gas, anything. No more fracking, no more oil drilling, no more of this stuff. This device is completely self-contained. It's an accumulator, it's a battery, it's all the above. So anybody who would like to be part of this and helping me build this project, helping me build this device, please do get in touch with me. Thank you.